Anti-corruption is on here. What is up, anti-corruption? Laura is on, and Joel is on, and Paige is on. Lisa is on. Hey, what's up, everybody? All right. Oh, Chad Pergram just tweeted out. Sit tight for a second. Following what is going on Capitol Hill. Okay. I'm getting a bunch of messages from people on Twitter who are a little bit nervous about this talk about Trump being impeached. What's going on? Do we need to worry about this? What's the scoop? All right, so I'm going to give you a breakdown. Hey, from Milwaukee and Tampa, what's going on? Glad to have everybody on the broadcast. All right, it sounds like, from what I'm reading from Chad Pergram, he's Fox's guy on Capitol Hill. All he does, he sits on Capitol Hill all day long and tweets about what is happening in Congress. Meetings that they're having, committee meetings, votes, different things. And it looks like members of the Democrat Party, Nancy Pelosi, and her people are meeting to discuss whether or not to have an impeachment inquiry. So I'm going to do my best to get comfortable here to kind of explain what this process is about and hopefully alleviate some concerns. Hey, Chris, what's going on? So, a little bit of history. Since the President Trump, has been elected, the Democrats have tried repeatedly to bring articles of impeachment in the House to attempt to impeach him. And all their attempts have failed. They've had several members of Congress, Al Green was one of them, and a couple other people, at various times tried to bring up articles of impeachment in the House. They didn't get enough votes in the House to go forward with the impeachment process. And Nancy Pelosi, for what it's worth, Nancy Pelosi has been against this whole idea for a long time. Nancy Pelosi has been telling the Democrats, shut up about impeachment, stop it, we're not going to impeach Trump. We don't have any, he hasn't committed any crimes. He hasn't actually done anything that is worthy of impeachment. It is tremendously unpopular among voters. And particularly since the Mueller investigation came up to be the big nothing burger. Prior to the Mueller investigation, there was some support in Congress and there was some support among their base to try to go forward with impeachment. But since the Mueller investigation was a nothing burger and they had really nothing on Trump that they could charge him with, they couldn't charge him with obstruction. The whole impeachment thing has gotten a lot less support until recently. So now we have this whole thing with Ukraine, and there's this whistleblower complaint, and the whistleblower evidently leaked to the media, and of course the whistleblower didn't hear the conversation that the president had with the Ukrainian president. All right, so what I've been watching is, in a sense, it looks like Trump has been baiting his opponents to make a big deal of this whistleblower thing, to accuse him of wrongdoing, to accuse him of corruption. Latest, Chuck Schumer and Adam Schiff. Schumer has said, well, I'll get to what Schumer has said. Adam Schiff has said for the last week that he believes there is incriminating evidence proving that Trump did something corrupt in this conversation with the Ukrainian president. That there was a quid pro quo, tit for tat, whatever, that Trump was going to withhold money unless the Ukrainian president took some action against Joe Biden and or Hunter Biden, right? That's the narrative that Adam Schiff has been pushing. He has been pushing this agenda that Trump somehow leveraged the Ukrainian president withholding money, I think money for their military, if they didn't put some pressure on Biden, maybe prosecute, whatever. That's Adam Schiff's accusation. Now, Adam Schiff has been demanding that this whistleblower complaint be made public, and the acting director of national intelligence has refused to make this complaint public. And part of the reason is because the acting director of national intelligence says that this is outside the purview of Congress, that it actually involves people not subject to oversight by Congress. So the acting director of national intelligence has said, no, we're not going to make this complaint available to Congress. Now, Chuck Schumer, just a few minutes ago, like I said, I'm following this on Twitter. Chuck Schumer just had a little speech. He's demanding that the whistleblower complaint be made public. Because Trump announced this morning he's going to make the transcript publicly available. It's going to be declassified, and he's going to make it publicly available. So now the entire world is going to know. And Trump has been telling them from the beginning, I didn't say anything wrong, perfectly normal conversation, everything was fine, I didn't, no leverage, no. And the Ukrainian president said nothing. They didn't talk about anything, illegal or unethical or immoral. So Trump has been telling and warning them, I didn't say anything wrong, nothing happened. But Schiff and the president's enemies, they are convinced, we've got Trump. We finally got him. The mainstream media, we got Trump. The walls are closing in. We finally got him on something. This transcript is going to prove that he, did something illegal, unethical, immoral, whatever. So now Trump this morning says, okay, fine. I'm going to make the transcript public. And we're all going to know what I said. This is awesome. The transcript will be made public tomorrow. All right. So now people in the media are already backpedaling, saying, well, we don't know if the transcript is going to be complete or is it going to be accurate. Maybe it's going to be doctored. We know that Trump is corrupt and dishonest. Maybe he'll doctor up the transcript. Maybe it's not going to be the whole thing. They've wanted to know what was in this conversation. And now they're going to hear what's in the conversation. And they're already backpedaling, moving the goalpost, changing the narrative to, we can't trust that Trump's going to tell us, let us know what happened in this conversation. They just, no matter what they do, no matter what they get, they're always going to try to change the narrative. And we don't know what's going to happen with the whistleblower complaint. However, tomorrow we are going to get the transcript of the conversation between the Ukrainian president and Trump. Now, what is interesting is this morning, Nancy Pelosi suddenly, yes, be careful what you wish for. Nancy Pelosi is now talking about an impeachment inquiry. All right, so Nancy Pelosi for a long time has been telling Democrats, shut up with the impeachment, we don't want to hear that. It's unpopular with the voters. They don't have any crimes that they can actually accuse Trump of. But they're getting to a point now where they're desperate because this whole Ukrainian thing is going to blow up and take down Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. Joe Biden he's toast. He is a walking dead man. His campaign for president is over. Biden is now lashing out publicly at Trump, accusing him of corruption, demanding that Trump be impeached because he knows Trump has just cut him off at the knees. And not only is Biden's campaign over, it's very possible that Trump has just publicly exposed crimes that Biden could be prosecuted for. All right. So these are high stakes. That's what's going on here. There's a very, very high stakes match going on between Biden, Pelosi, the Democrats, and Trump. And Trump has just drawn his enemies within range of his artillery. He kind of was warning them, oh, don't come and don't ask about this, and you don't want to know, and the conversation was fine. And look, here's the funniest thing about all of this is the mainstream media did not want to talk at all about what happened in Ukraine. They were totally avoiding the Joe Biden story in Ukraine. They wanted nothing to do with that because they knew if the truth came out, it was not going to go well for Joe Biden. And somehow Trump tricked them into talking about this whistleblower complaint, the conversation he had with the Ukrainian president, and now the media gets all spun up about, oh, we got to know what happened in Ukraine, and we got to let the people know in transparency and truth. And now they're going to find out how corrupt Joe Biden actually is. And the deals that happened in China with Biden and his son, and John Kerry's stepson, the media did not want to report on that, and now they're going to have to. I mean, they will try to backpedal away from this, but the transcript's going to come out tomorrow, and they'll have to report on it. So now we're in this high-stakes game of poker where Trump has dropped some big artillery on Joe Biden and the Democrats and their hope for 2020. He's essentially taken Joe Biden out of the race. Now, Nancy Pelosi this morning, in an interview, they were talking about why would she move forward with an impeachment inquiry. And she said, we can't let Trump win. Same thing Al Green said the last time that he wanted to bring up articles of impeachment. We have to impeach Trump. We can't let him win in 2020. We have to impeach him. Basically, they're all saying, well, if we don't impeach him, he's going to win in 2020, and we can't beat him at the ballot box, so we have to try to impeach him. Look, these people are desperate. They are absolutely desperate. They know Elizabeth Warren cannot beat Trump. They know that Joe Biden is toast. What, is Bernie Sanders going to beat Trump? Bernie Sanders doesn't have a chance of beating Trump. Nobody on the Democrat side has a chance of beating Trump. Their only hope of stopping Trump from getting reelected is to try to smear him through the impeachment process. And I don't even know that they think they're going to impeach him because they know that they can't. It has to go to the Senate. Now let me explain the impeachment process. So, impeachment is the right of the House of Representatives. And if members of the House decide they want to move forward with impeachment, they can do an impeachment inquiry, and that's what they're talking about right now. And it is almost 5 o'clock Eastern, and we're supposed to have news from Nancy Pelosi in Congress what they're going to do. Are they going to move forward with impeachment inquiry or not? So I got on here a little bit early so I can give you some news, give some background, so I can give you hopefully an update here in just a few minutes on what's going to happen with Congress. So the House, which is under control of the Democrats right now, and let me give you a little bit of facts here. The House currently has 235 Democrats, and there are 199 Republicans in the House. So if the House wanted to move forward with impeachment, they would have to bring forward articles of impeachment. They'd have to bring charges against the president. Then they would vote on whether or not to move forward with impeachment. If they pass the impeachment resolution by a simple majority, then it goes to the Senate for a trial. Now, in the Senate, there is a trial, and the Senate has 53 Republicans and 45 Democrats right now. In the Senate, the members of the House of Representatives act as prosecutors, and members of the Senate act as a jury. And there is a trial, and the Democrats in the House would have to bring their charges and build their case, bring evidence against the president, and the Senate would be the jury, and they would essentially listen to the evidence, listen as in a criminal trial, and then they would vote whether or not to convict the president in the Senate. The Supreme Court justice is the presiding judge over the trial in the Senate. All right. Now, I highly doubt that the Democrats are actually going to move forward with impeachment, and here's why. A lot of members, Democrat members of the House, know impeachment is very unpopular. Here's something to think of. A vote to impeach Trump in the House is as dangerous for Democrats as it is for Trump. Because a lot of voters are tired of this wrangling back and forth in Congress. They want Congress to get to work on health care. They want Congress to get to work on maybe passing a budget, maybe bringing down the deficit, working on infrastructure, right? Voters are actually want Congress to do something, and the House has done nothing, because the House and the Senate can't agree on anything. They can't pass gun control legislation, as Trump highlighted this morning. Congress has completely screwed everything up because Jerry Nadler and Nancy Pelosi, and they're focusing on all the wrong things. And their voter base is getting pretty tired of it. Now, here's the problem for the Democrats. The problem for the Democrats is they have a very vocal, small base of support that is demanding they impeach Trump. And they have a somewhat larger base that wants this whole thing to go away, to forget about the Mueller thing, stop trying to impeach Trump, get some work done, pass some legislation, and do what we sent you to Congress for. So the problem for the Democrats is they have a split ideology in their base of support. They have a small contingent of people who are demanding Trump be impeached. They have a larger, less vocal group of people who want Congress to just get on with what they're doing. That is why they have not moved forward with an actual serious attempt to impeach Trump in the House. They know that if they take a serious move to impeach Trump, it's going to piss off their basis. Most of their base of support is not in favor of impeachment. So I think what they're doing, this is just my opinion, I think Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, if they move forward with an impeachment inquiry, all they're doing is, it's just meetings and discussing whether or not we have evidence, what evidence do we have against Trump? Should we move forward? Should we not? What color of clouds do we need to have before we go through with an impeachment vote? It's just stalling for time. I think if they go through with an impeachment, if they decide to do an impeachment inquiry, all they're doing is they're trying to placate that small, vocal part of their base of support that wants something done to get rid of Trump. And if they do an impeachment inquiry, they can continue to drag this out. They get media coverage. CNN, Washington Post, New York Times can continue their hysterical hyperventilating about, oh, now the president's under an impeachment inquiry. Oh, it's looking bad. Oh, the walls are closing in. Oh, it's looking like they're going to get him. They have to keep driving this narrative that Trump did something wrong. And the fact that Congress is in an impeachment inquiry is evidence that Trump did something wrong. They have to keep driving this narrative. They can't, they don't have enough, obviously they don't have any legitimate crimes that Trump committed, or they would have already gone through with this impeachment. But they also can't let go of it completely. They have to keep driving a news cycle, one after another, as Trump is moving his agenda forward and he's moving the football down the field. They have to counter him somehow. And maybe Nancy Pelosi feels right now the best way to counter him is an impeachment inquiry. So it gives the mainstream media something to talk about. They can keep writing articles and trying to convince people that Trump is this close to being impeached. So let's see. Oh, I just got a thing. Nancy Pelosi is going live and is expected to announce a formal impeachment inquiry. I just got that on my phone. Bloomberg is going to be doing that live. So, yeah, and look, that's what's going on here. Nancy Pelosi is probably going to announce that the House is going to move forward with a formal impeachment inquiry, which was what Jerry Nadler has been talking about for a long time. He's been talking in his meetings about this is a semi-formal, quasi-official impeachment inquiry. We're going to talk about we're going to think about talking about maybe impeaching Trump. And that's all this is. So this afternoon, very likely, Nancy's going to go live, and she's going to say, we are officially going to launch an impeachment inquiry, which means nothing. It means nothing. And no, hang on. Chad Pergam just tweeted out. It's a type. Let me see what. All right. Nope, nothing there. It's okay. So more than likely what's going to happen this afternoon, Nancy Pelosi will announce that the House is going to do an impeachment inquiry, which really means nothing. It just means that some of the people in the mainstream media will have something to report on, trying to smear the president. Tomorrow we're going to get the transcript of the conversation between the president and the Ukrainian president, and we'll know what happened. And the mainstream media will have to back away from that story and backpedal as much as they can and try to bury that and spin the narrative from, well, we don't care about the conversation. We want to know what the whistleblower complaint was all about. They're going to move the goalposts. They don't have a choice. They wanted to know what was in the phone call. Now they're going to know what was in the phone call. Now they have to switch to something else. Well, we want to know what the whistleblower complaint was about. And eventually, I don't know, they may or may not get what they wanted. I don't know that they're going to get the whistleblower complaint. But there really isn't a whole lot to worry about as far as this impeachment thing. Even if Congress moved forward and voted on impeachment, okay, so they have an impeachment in the House. Now you have to go to the Senate and try to do a trial. There's no way it's going to go through. And Trump would not be removed from office. And this is evidence of how freaked out the president's enemies are. That's all this is. That's what I'm looking at it as. It is evidence that Trump's enemies are in a panic. They don't know what to do. They're a bit hysterical. They're a bit panicked. They're freaked out because Trump once again outmaneuvered them in his 4D chess and got them to go after this Ukrainian story, and now it's blowing up in their face. And they don't know what else to do. They're desperate. They don't have a very good game plan. They don't have any evidence. They don't have any charges they can bring against Trump. You know, Mueller was a nothing burger. They just keep losing and losing and losing. So a lot of this is just hysteria to drive the mainstream media, to give them something to talk about, to try to keep their base of support hopeful. But look, you know, Biden is pretty much toast. Trump has been telling us in his rallies that he really wants Elizabeth Warren as his main opponent because he wants to take her apart limb from limb. And he said, you know, I talked about Pocahontas a little bit too early, and I shouldn't have said some of the things I said because, you know, maybe she won't get the nomination. Trump really wants Elizabeth Warren. And if Elizabeth Warren, she's trending up in the polls, Joe Biden is trending down. Watch for Trump to bring out the guns on Elizabeth Warren. As soon as Biden is disposed of and he's down in the single digits in polling, Trump will turn his artillery on Elizabeth Warren. And then it gets to be fun because I think Trump has a ton of ammunition against Elizabeth Warren and hasn't used it yet. He's waiting. He is holding back Yeah, so Chad Pergram just tweeted out, Nancy Pelosi is announcing that she is directing the House to start an official impeachment inquiry. Actually, we have a statement from Nancy Pelosi. Looks like she's smacking her lips. Hang on a sec. I'll play it for you.
On Thursday, the Inspector General testified before the House Intelligence Committee stating that the acting Director of National Intelligence blocked him from disclosing the whistleblower complaint. This is a violation of law. The law is unequivocal.
All right, so she's all pissed off because the acting Director of National Intelligence would not let the whistleblower complaint be released to Congress. So obviously they're going to insinuate that Trump is behind this. Trump has told the DNI not to release the information, the whistleblower complaint. And so Chad Pergram did tweet out that she is announcing that she is directing the House to start an official impeachment inquiry. So no big deal. It's going to be a little bit more drama. They're going to hold some hearings. They're going to make fools of themselves. Trump will continue dropping his artillery on people. And look, it's like I said, it's going to turn to Elizabeth Warren pretty soon. Elizabeth Warren had better get ready because Trump is going to come after her. She's next. Biden is pretty much dead. He's a dead stick. Trump will finish him off, but his attention will now get turned to Elizabeth Warren. And it's just a battle. It's just, moves and counter moves. Trump goes on offense. Democrats have to respond. And I would not be too concerned about this whole impeachment thing. It's not going to go anywhere. Nothing to worry about. All right, cool. I'm going to jump off of here. I just wanted to give her 8chan. No news on 8chan. No news on Q. I was anticipating 8chan would have been online a long time ago. Jim Watkins said on September 5th that 8chan would be back online in a couple of days. I thought, okay, maybe later this week. It's been a long time now. And yeah, no news on 8chan. No news on Q. I don't know when. I would imagine 8chan will come back online. What they're doing, what Jim Watkins said they're doing is they're building their own replacement for Cloudflare. Cloudflare was a provider that kept their website from being attacked by DDoS. And Cloudflare pulled their service, and Watkins said they're building their own version of Cloudflare to prevent their site from getting hit by DDoS attacks. So maybe that's taking a bit longer to get that going than they anticipated. But 8chan will be back online eventually and Q will return. I have no doubt about that. So yeah, I'm looking for Q to come back too. I love these breaks. Q has not posted in like 6 or 7 weeks. I'm getting a little bored. I'm working on the books. I'm making good progress on the Q books, but I would kind of like to see Q return, actually. Yeah, Q withdrawals. We're all going through it. All right. And hey, keep Q and the team in prayer. Keep Jim Watkins and 8chan and Code Monkey and those guys in prayer. Keep the president in prayer. Don't worry. Do not worry. Just pray. And, keep dropping red pills on your friends and family. All right. Gonna go. Love you all. Take care. I'll catch you on the next broadcast.